Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willies, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning, Texas. Good morning to the United States of America. And of course, good morning to the world. We are going to have a great show for you today. As usual, we mean business. How's everybody doing? I trust that your week is going great. Folks, do remember that early voting is over, but you can vote on Saturday. And you know what? Let's show folks that we are engaged and get to vote on Saturday and make proper choices that will make Houston a better Houston. Before we get started, we go to the geniuses in our studios today. Good morning, Howard. Good morning, Jack. How's everybody doing this morning?
And good morning, Ontario. Why? Hey, I just want to mention something here to you, Egberto. We have a very valuable volunteer right here in Jack.
Yes.
Jack has come to us and said, well, I want to do this. Then he started learning the board and learning how to switch things and how to do things. It's just incredible to watch him do what I used to do. And I was like, Jack, you're doing a great job. You really are. And I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Before Jack says his piece, may I say my piece as well? I love Brother Jack, you know. Yeah, I love Brother Jack, and I can't say how thankful I am for Brother Jack Van Beber to be driving in every morning very early to get this show going. And let me tell you even better, he makes a mean taco burrito. I don't know exactly what it was that we had, but we sat down at Lake Houston and had a wonderful breakfast and a great talk. Love the guy, Jack. Thank you for all you do, brother.
You're very welcome. I'm very honored to do this.
Well, that's good. We appreciate you. And he gets in before I do and starts rigging up the tin cans and string every morning. By the time I come in, all I have to do is sit down. That's it. So, Jack, we sure appreciate you, man.
Well, I knew that when I got here, you were the guy that the shoulders of everything fell on.
Oh,
so
yeah.
my idea was to be as much help to you as I could.
And you do.
So
now go make me some coffee, man.
Yeah, you got the wrong person there.
That's right. You got some wisdom for us. I see you got your pad out here.
Man, I mean,
why is this up, man?
Trump admits he'll be an authoritarian dictator if he's elected at a town hall meeting even. Started to steal your thunder, Egberto. That's because corporate business loves doing business with dictators, because a dictator will oppress and tax the people, give sweetheart deals to the corporate interests so they can plunder the country's resources. Get ready, America. Look at your future being stolen from you for profit.
Something stolen again?
Them Grinches.
I'm telling you what, they steal elections. They steal packages off of porches.
Why buy it when you can steal it?
No, that's right.
Hey, now, well, you know, I am sort of upset because I really thought as soon as you were done, Jack, that I was going to hear those rats. You know, that's what Howard always say. Those rats. He didn't say it, Howard. You're slipping, Howard.
I am. Those rats.
Those Grinches.
Now we're talking. Anyway,
now
man.
We're up to a good start.
Now we're up to a good start. That just got my blood boiling. Look, we have a great guest as usual. We've been having Neil Aquino every Thursday in the mornings, and Neil asked me this morning, because the idea is as these elections were coming, the local ones, I needed to get some more local stuff, and my brother here is one of our most local with his democracy project. He really keeps engaged with the community as he gets things done here. And I said, you know, man, let's continue doing these things that cover the local issues. So, Neil, thank you so kindly for being here. Welcome, Neil Aquino, founder of the Houston Democracy Project. How are you doing this morning, sir?
Great. I'm doing great this morning. Good morning, audience. Good morning, callers to be Egberto Studio, and thanks for the privilege of having me on and hearing me.
Well, look, I tell you, it's invaluable. Now, here's what we need to know, Neil. Welcome aboard, Melanie Keelan from Barcelona, Spain. Now, Howard, you see why I say welcome the world as well, my brother? Barcelona, Spain is in the house. Anyway, yeah, Neil, score me up on the election.
Well, we're going to have our municipal election day on Saturday, this Saturday, the 9th. And on the ballot in Houston are the mayor, the controller, 4 at-large seats 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the council races in District G. That's the depressing Busby, Mary Nan Huffman race. And then we have the Travis McGee, Carolyn Evans Shabazz race. And then in District H, the Mario Castilla, Cynthia Reyes Rivera race, which has had some controversy this week about Cynthia Reyes Rivera being associated with what appeared to be some homophobic mailers out or texts out, which was disappointing. I've spoken to her. She's seemed like a good person, and she surely lost her way with this, and that's been a tight, nasty race all along.
I mean, my God, it's 2023. It just drives me crazy. I mean, we have all these issues. I mean, let people live, man. Look, I mean, it's funny. Look, I don't know if you follow what occurred in Florida with the chair of the Republican Party there. Yeah, they are always anti this, anti that. Turns out they are also a part of the people they so despise. It's sad, but anyhow, let me ask you, Neil.
You earlier Democrat. Cynthia was a Democrat and is a Democrat, and I do get what you're saying. Those moms for liberty, they were just rank hypocrites. And but it's disappointing just to see someone who seems decent, but really proceeded wrongly.
Well, back when I came to this country, I had a whole lot that I had to change with my own prejudices, right? But you do it. After living in the country for decades, it's hard for one not to understand what it means to be an inclusive person. I don't particularly like the word tolerant. I like the word inclusive, because tolerant seem to mean, and I use it sometimes because it's sort of habit, but tolerant seems to me to mean, well, you're doing the wrong thing, but I'll tolerate you. While inclusive means I want to be around everybody. Anyway, so you gave me some numbers earlier as far as how the voting went on in the county. We're not quite sure what to draw from those from those numbers. But there's one thing that I think you could do with those numbers, and to remind folks in these areas that are not voting, hey, you guys are not participating. You guys need to be a bit more active and bring up your areas. Please go ahead and point that out.
So the source of this is Charles Kuffner's Off the Cuff blog. So, and what Charles has done, and I guess he does this traditionally at this point, he takes some more Republican precincts, and he takes what might be determined as heavily black precincts. Of course, those are always broad generalizations. Everyone lives everywhere, and people are not monolithic. But the upshot of it is that the Republican turnout is stronger. Kingwood, Freeman, Nottingham, and some other areas compared to Acres Homes, Sunnyside, Kashmir. Although turnout is up in Sunnyside a little bit because that Travis McGee, Carolyn Evans Shabazz race, there's some bad blood there. And there were some stories about Councilwoman Shabazz going and sitting in the voting center. And she said, "Who, me? Who? I was just sitting here. I wasn't wearing a T-shirt or anything, but it was her. It was her. She said she needed to use the restroom, but then she sat there, apparently, according to Channel 13, and she said, "Oh no, I wasn't electioneering," but she was the recognizable account. But those two, I think this is their at least second go round. Travis McGee, who's a great activist on HISD issues and a real strong force in Sunnyside. And so that race has had higher turnout, but that hasn't been met by higher turnout in other areas that might be seen as stronger for the Congresswoman or that helped propel Mayor Turner to his 2 victories.
Yeah, I think, I hate to say that I feel that the race is a foregone conclusion. I don't like to say that, especially when we still have hopefully more than 50% of the vote to come in. But if that other 50% doesn't come in and start showing that they really care about this election, the status quo will not be maintained. In fact, we have a good possibility of flipping the county. And it's funny that the incentive to flip the county would be because we have a very. Go ahead.
No, the city flipping this.
Flipping the city. I'm sorry, flipping the city. That's what.
The election.
Yeah. I thank you for, very important correction. Thank you for correcting me there. That we are flipping the city because, again, the fact that we have a moderate who is palatable to Republicans coming in, that also means that at-large seats are very much in danger, because if the proportions are just right, the at-larges can suffer for that, especially since I'm in Kingwood and I've been flooded with cheat sheets, mailers that either have Whitmire at the top with a whole lot of other Republican at-larges. And let me explain this to people. That is a very good tactic the Republicans have used. If you have something that says vote for Whitmire, and then it tells you vote for Sanchez and other Republicans that are running, what it shows is a technique that somebody that's not very politically savvy picks it up. They see Whitmire and they see the other guys there. They look at it as a slate, and that's how they vote. Because I tell you, I have a friend of mine that went into the voting booth and said, I didn't know half of the 8 people that was on the ballot. So I simply did not vote for them because I did not want to make a mistake in the vote. But there are many people who would make the mistake and vote for the wrong person.
Right. Let me speak to that for a minute, because that's super important. And our listeners and callers with questions about the municipal race, if that's what they want to talk about, it's important because you can make a difference. So there were 248,000 voters in the first round in the city. 248,000 people voted for mayor, but only 198,000 roughly voted in the council races. So you've got a cruddy 17% turnout to begin with. Then a fifth of that, 17%, doesn't vote in the council races. And that's something. I mean, I had to shake, God bless everyone, I had to shake my head. And 1, 2, 3, 4, these council races, plus the controller's race, all involve a Republican against a Democrat. 1, 2, 3, 4 council at large, controller, all involve. I'm not saying the Democrats are great shakes. I'm not a fan of Melanie Miles in 1. I'm not a fan of Nick Hellier in 2, but I'm going to hold my nose and vote for them. I wish that some of our elected officials, Democratic elected officials, who are supporting Whitmire, but don't seem to be able to endorse the full ticket. I wish that our elected officials were as mature sometimes as the active voter who comes out and votes the full slate. But it's important when you go to the polls or someone asks you, or you initiate a conversation with your workmate, your friend, your neighbor, your family, vote the whole thing. And it's easy. It's on the 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a Democrat against a Republican and the controller race. And as we said last week, I have my last name is Italian, but I get all these Spanish mailers or geared towards Latino mailers. And I've gotten bilingual mailing from Republicans, none from Democrats. And they are really working it. Someone thinks it's worth the money to spend because there's a lot of mail coming through.
In a low turnout election, when you have these low turnout elections, that Houston is maybe 60-40 blue means very little. Sharkula hairstylist, welcome aboard. No, not a slow day, but we have to cover local politics. We have to do local politics. I know we like the flashy other things with the booms, but we have to do the local politics. And guess what, Sharkula? You need to help us with that. Make sure and call everybody up that you know, and please tell them, don't sit this election out. And this goes for everybody that's listening to my voice. Please go out there and tell your mother, your father, your brother, your cousin, your friends that they need to go out and vote on Saturday. They need to go out, and I think you can vote at any location now in Houston.
Yeah.
So anywhere you see those stickers up or those banners out, please go out there and vote. You just have to have your driver's license your driver's license with you as one of your IDs or something else. So please go out. Oh, Shakul, I know you were joking. I'm just playing with you too. I am joking too, girl. All right, let's see. Anyway, so did you see that interview with Kim Og with Mondrell? I think it's his name. I don't remember his name right now. The reporter on Channel 11. I was so disappointed in that interview. In that, with all that's going on with Kim Og in the county, it was like a play piece.
I did not see it. I'll be honest. I saw that come across my way, and I said, I know he didn't press her on stuff, and my blood pressure needed a break at that instant. I didn't watch it. And if you wish that the local, it's just something. We live in this giant city, and this is the oldest complaint in the book. Boy, if they just focused on civics or just basic stuff, as much as crime, we'd all be better well served. And I want to make a point. Daniel Cohen, of course, and you've had him on the show consistently, is an architect. All these things, of course, are co-led by active and committed people. But an architect of this, Daniel Cohen at Indivisible. And it's important to know about this Kim Og stuff. She keeps saying it's from her opponent, her primary opponent, and that just ain't so. So what we're referencing is the resolution within the Democratic Party to admonish the Democratic incumbent district attorney, Kim Og, for going after Democrats, for not representing things correctly. And that is fully pushed by local citizens, activists, active Democrats. And it's really important to make that point because we as rank and file active people have the ability to say to elected officials, that's enough. That's enough. You can be called to account. You can be admonished. And I have watched some of the meetings you have too, Egberto. And Kim Og sits on the Zoom meetings. She doesn't show her picture, Kim Og, like some wizard behind tent. And she brings her people on, and they stare intently into the screen. And but the people on these committees, these volunteers, have withstood that pressure and voted to proceed this admonishment forward to what will be a December 12th decision when all the Democratic precinct chairs meet, I believe, at the University of Houston. And that's an open meeting.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting meeting. I'll be there. But anyhow, let's go ahead and go to Arnold. Come on in, Arnold, line 1. By the way, folks, you can give us a call at 713-526-5738. We are covering some local issues. We'll get into some national issues in a bit as well. It's 713-526-5738. Come on down. Arnold, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on the airways, sir. What I wanted to kind of bring up real quick and ask, and I'll take it off the air and see if you know about it, is that the refineries, TTC, I think they were asking for a permit or something here recently. I had got a little small mailer about it, and I don't know what came of it. I know, there was some type of meeting. I'm not sure. I'm sure it's done and gone. You might have more information on it.
Okay, let me ask you to do, Arnold. Let me ask you to do me a favor because I am not aware of the mailer. I don't know if Neil has something on it, but anytime you have things like that need research or finding out, just take a picture of it and send it to kpft@politicsdoneright.com, because those are the things that we would like to make sure that we have to cover. So please, if you have it with you,
for a permit,
right?
And I know Juan Paras. He's on one of the radio programs. He's with KHAS, I think is one of the organizations. Talked about the East End over there where all these refineries are. Like I said, they were asking for a permit to, I think, build more. The refinery that's kind of like right behind Chavez, and stuff like that. So if you got any more information, thank you.
Let me see if Neil has something for you. Neil, were you about to ask something?
Well, I was going to ask actually if the caller lived in the Houston city limits or because there is one other council race. But I will say this, that name Juan Paras, he's done the work for years and years. I don't know if he still does them. He would do a toxic tour, and you could ask, and he would take you around and give you the tour. And they're very sensitive. I remember I took a picture of a Chevron refinery from a city park, and these security men descended on me like I was a wrongdoer. And so that would be interesting to know what that issue is. There is a whole crew that fights. They've been fighting ship channel expansion, and there's a whole crew of activism over there. And it's great to hear them noticed and still active. So it'd be great to know. I'm sorry, but I don't know the specifics though.
Yeah. Now we lost Arnold. I don't know if we accidentally hung up or what, but if he needs to answer that, he can just drop me a line at kpft@politicsdoneright.com or call back in. Anyway, folks, the telephone number is 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. As I started the program today, I didn't come out and tell you what the program was going to be about. I just realized that we got into all this banter. So the title of the show today was Neil Aquino on runoff, which he's already done that segment. Trump to be a dictator. Ryan Grim dings Ted Cruz. GOP sellout taxpayers. Those 4 items are what's scheduled to be spoken about today. Of course, likely we don't get to all of them, so you can always reach all the articles with the corresponding data and videos, etc., by going to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Again, that is politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. But right now, the media has finally jumped on the bandwagon and realized that our former president, who is currently ahead in some polls, admits to wanting to be a dictator if he becomes president again. And suddenly, he's been saying all the dictatorship-like things that he intended to do for several months now. He said he was going to take over the media. He said he was going after all the people in the deep state being the federal government that our politicians have put into place. He has been completely dictatorial in the things he said he intended to do. So why is that a shock? I don't know. Why is it a shock? I don't know. So let's go ahead and play that piece, and then we'll take it on the other side. Let's go with that now. Whenever progressives are out there talking about Donald Trump, or even the media, stating that if he's elected again, he'll attempt to become a dictator. Now, I want to be frank here. Donald Trump can say that he wants to be a dictator as much as he wants to, but to be a dictator in America, you need help. You need help of all your staff. You need help in Congress. You need help in the Senate. Well, it all depends on how the election goes, whether he will have that help, right? Whether he'll have that help in such a manner that also the military will conform to him. I'm not sure about that, but I do know that because most people follow the rules, there's a good possibility that when he gives executive orders, they will be executed, especially if all he brings are his yes men. So the question is, does he want to be a dictator? And it's clear He came right out and said it, even as Sean Hannity made every attempt to clean it up. He said, nah, I'm not listening to you, Sean. No, I'm going to be dictator on day one. Check this out, and then we'll take it on the other side.
Former President Trump is also not denying he would rule as a dictator. This is in a Fox News interview with Sean Hannity last night. Let's watch.
The media has been focused on this and attacking you. Under no circumstances, you are promising America tonight you would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
Except for day one.
Except what?
He's going crazy. Except for day one.
Meaning?
I want to close the border and I want to drill.
That's not retribution. I'm going to be, you know, he keeps, we love this guy. He says, you're not going to be a dictator, are you?
I said, no, other than day one.
So we shouldn't call that a news interview. That was basically an ally, a MAGA ally, and sometimes surrogate, Sean Hannity, trying to help Donald Trump out by getting him off of the dictator meme that Liz Cheney had, just said in recent days as her book has come out, Phil. And Donald Trump wasn't having anything of it.
Donald Trump, again, that is what he believes. Look at the autocrats that he revere. The president of China, the president of Turkey, the president of Hungary. He even spoke about at one time Saddam Hussein. I mean, he really likes guys that really control it all. Erdogan, check out the people that he reveres. And once you check that out, you see exactly who he wants to be. You look at the folks that surround him, Kash Patel and all these other guys that really want to show their machismo and running stuff. That is the guys that he plans to bring into the fold. So does Donald Trump want to be a dictator? Well, listen to his words.
He says, you're not going to be a dictator, are you? I said, no, other than day one.
Yes, Donald Trump does want to be a dictator. Yeah, folks. I mean, you know what is so funny about this entire thing? And sadly, I don't mean funny. I mean sad. Sean Hannity was trying to spoon feed the man. Donald Trump, right. My brother, you don't want to be a dictator, right? Promise America right now. That's not what you want. Hey, Donald, your promises don't mean anything. So, hey, just go ahead and do it to get elected, man. Promise them that Sean Hannity is begging him. Jimmy, I'm coming to you in a second. Sean Hannity is begging him, Neil. He's begging him to say the right thing. And he couldn't.
Right. I'll say two things to that, and very quickly, so we get to the caller. You referenced Kash Patel. He was on Steve Bannon's podcast, and he was talking very specifically about prosecuting the press. They were specific as could be, and then just say to keep our local angle. For example, State Senator Paul Betancourt has endorsed John Whitmire, and there are all of these extremists. They are local. They are in office. They have endorsed John Whitmire, and then beyond that, they are here locally, and they support all of it. So it's right here at home.
I mean, it's like a cancer growing, The cancer has the tentacles where it goes ahead and invades organ after organ after organ. So, folks, what Trump is talking about is already local right here in our city, right here in our county. Let's bring Jim into the fold. And, folks, don't remember, 713-526-5738. Give us a call now. We are taking calls now. All lines but Jimmy is available. Jimmy, talk to me, my brother.
Hi, Berto. Donald Trump also said that he was going to get retribution. In other words,
yes.
Going after the enemies. Mm-hmm. So that's a dangerous part right there. But I've got one more thing. I want to, David Atwood, I believe was active with KPFT. He passed away on November 22nd, but nobody knows anything about a funeral for him. He had 6 children. Does anybody at KPFT know his children and how we can get in touch with them? I'd like to have you maybe put that on the air before 7 o'clock.
Okay, folks, if anybody, David Atwood was a good friend of mine, and I had a tribute to him on the Monday after he passed, Jimmy. I don't know if you heard it. but I did a tribute to our brother Atwood here on my show. I don't know any of his kids. I just knew him and his wife. And sadly, they both passed this year. But yeah, you're correct, Jimmy. If anybody that's a participant with David Atwood can come on to the program and call into the program, we'll get you on air right away. Anything else you'd like to say, Jimmy?
That's all. Yeah, I was concerned about trying to find David Atwood and a funeral, and several other people don't know anything about a funeral for him or his wife.
Wow.
Anyway, you're doing a good job, and I'm glad you're exposing Trump's desires to be a dictator and to get retribution. So we need to stop that man before he gets in the White House again.
Thank you, Jimmy. With folks like you, we're going to get it done. I mean, you're out there talking to your people, and we're all trying to talk to our spheres of influence to make sure that doesn't happen. Thank you so kindly for your call, Jimmy. All right, folks, 713-526-5738. Again, the number is 713-526-5738. All but one line is available, so call now before we go to the next subject. Call now so that we don't have to shorten the calls to you. Come on in, Bard.
Hi, good morning. I was wanting to let Neil know that the Houston Chronicle has endorsed John Whitmire.
Yeah, they sure have. Yeah. Along with Melior last year.
Very, very much so. Go ahead, Bart.
Well, the other thing was it's about Sheila. You know, her staffer wore a wire and taped her how bad she is. That takes a lot of guts to do that. And then I don't remember the name she called. What, fat ass Jerome? He killed himself. Did you know that, Neil?
That's a story. I mean, that's out there. That could well be. That's the story that's out there. I can't confirm it. Is there? Where are you taking it?
I mean, Sheila's people don't like her. She's the most hated boss in Congress for the last 20 years. Nobody wants to work for her.
But let me just say, let's be clear here, okay? I want to be clear, Bard. I mean, if you would come here and say specific policies, right? I'm not in a love contest with any person. I told you why I am not voting for Whitmire. Not once did I say Whitmire doesn't treat people right. Not once did I say I can tell you things about Whitmire going off the rail and that sort of stuff. You've never heard me say that. The things that I talk about Whitmire are specific. I'm not Bard. I'm not done. I made you speak. I'm not done. Okay. I speak of the policy that affects us. I don't care about how Sheila deals with her staff. I tell you something. Someone of her staff screwed up, right? And sent out the wrong date for election recently. So maybe she needed to kind of get tight with her staff and say, what the hell is wrong with you at some point? But let me just tell you one thing. If you open closed doors on any politician or probably even on you, my brother Bard, I bet there are things that you have said, maybe things that you've said about me, maybe things that you've said about others, that in polite society you would not want heard. So please, my brother Bard, let's talk policy. Let's talk about the policy differences between Sheila Jackson Lee and Whitmire. And I will bet my little finger that you could not tell me what are the policy differences between those two. What you likely see is one is a man, one is white, one is a black woman, and one is a woman, and one is black. Because based on all the narrative that you, Mr. Bard, have given thus far, that seems to be the preeminent voice in your mind. So let me correct and state one thing categorically. If you're not going to be speaking the policy differences between our honorable Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee and our honorable State Senator Mr. Whitmire, please, let's not pollute the air with those types of stories, okay?
Well, maybe flip it around, Egberto. Maybe Sheila Jackson Lee's staff released that date on purpose because of the way they've been
again. Bard. Again, we're talking. Bard. No, Bard. Okay, I'm going to stop this right now. And the reason I'm going to stop this line of discussion, if you want to talk policy, we can. We're not going to talk personalities. Let's talk policy. What's the policy difference between Sheila Jackson Lee and Whitmire that you think is you prefer? Which policy from Whitmire you prefer over a policy from Sheila? Please let me know.
Well, the top two things are in Houston right now is crime. We have a huge crime problem, and Sheila's going to raise taxes. The reason you can't.
All right. Well, hold on a second. Because you've just lied to our public. You have just lied to our public. The crime issue, and in fact, if you're basing what you're talking about on truth, you would hold Whitmire accountable for making the crime issue and fooling our public into believing the crime issue is more than it really is. In fact, crime in Houston is actually on the way down. Violent crime is on the way down. And let's go a bit further. If you take a look at the issues that really affect crime, if you really care about crime, you would look at the underlying issues that covers crime, and the Republican methodology for covering crime is proven to be it's proven to be bad. The methodology used by handling social issues to prevent crime has proven to reduce recidivism and all these type issues. So on all the policy issues that you're speaking about, the policies that Sheila supports are much more effective than the policies that John Whitmire supports. That's a statement of fact that I'm stating there. And if you can refute it, please attempt.
I can refute it. You keep saying the crime's going down. It's been heading down for the last 3 years. Well, when's it going to happen? I mean, I know you live in Kingwood and it's safe over there.
Bard, again, you made a false statement. Bard, you made a false statement again. If you admit that crime rates have been going down, you can't say then when is it going to happen? Those two statements are mutually exclusive. Anyway, let's go on to Harry. Bard, we talk another day, sir. I mean, look, let me tell you this. I don't mind somebody disagreeing with me at all. In fact, it's a good thing that we can have a vibrant conversation. But if you're going to do so, you're not going to do so using right-wing methodology, because right-wing methodology is not based on any factual-based information. Okay? So so Neil, before I go to Harry, do you want to add to that at all?
And let me just make two really quick points about that. I keep getting mailers from these law enforcement PACs. So Senator Whitmire keeps saying he doesn't say anything negative about his opponents. He lets the law enforcement PACs do it for them. I keep getting these mailers also saying that the congresswoman favors defunding the police. And actually, we should have conversations about how we fund the police. But we cannot, by state law, defund the police. We cannot, by state law, defund the police. State law says that municipalities cannot reduce police funding. And the other thing I would say, and this is really important to me, and part of my Houston Democracy Project, and you can Google it, Houston Democracy Project, it's there with a daily blog. And one of the points I consistently am making is that there's no public safety without democracy. And so we pay 40% of our tax dollars in Houston to the police, and we still face the prospect of a right-wing suspension of our rights. So one of the things I want to use this platform and other platforms for is to expand the definition of public safety to include democracy. And I'll tell you, that's something that John Whitmire and his buddies sure seem weak on.
No, I mean, I couldn't restate that any better at all. So, folks, if you want to solve problems, you solve problems at the core. You don't let folks come in with platitudes that feel good as they're telling you that. We too often vote against our own interests by following the the ridiculous type. I mean, well, let's go to Harry because I want to make sure I'm measured. Harry, come on in, brother.
Good morning, Roberto. Good morning, Neil. Good morning, Howard and Jack. And thank you, Neil, for educating Estonians and the world nationally about some of John Whitmire's ideology and his ideas, what he thinks should be involved with Houston's politics locally. Anyway, I was wondering, Roberto, can you play, well, before I get into that, as far as my train of thought is not as good this morning, but anyway, I was wondering, can you play that Mitt Romney speech that I've talked about on this show about Donald Trump being a fraud and a phony to educate people? And because I think there are a lot of people out there in the public probably haven't heard that speech that Mitt Romney did in his past.
That's a good idea. That's a very good idea. I think that's a very good idea, Harry. The good thing about it is I have a few times to do it. I'm going to try to remember that. I don't have anything. I'm going to try to remember that. And I want to play that for real. I think I have it in my repertoire as well. So I'm going to look for that. Anyway, continue, my friend.
Yeah, I think you should play it on this show, Politics Done Right. Play it on your 3 o'clock show. And maybe you should chat with Steve Hunter about it so he can play it on Utah so people can get hit in the head with that and know what Donald Trump is about. If, these MAGA people need to be educated about that because, he's just a fraud and a phony. And the other, I'm just hoping that, let's see, in March, isn't March when the January 6th trial starts?
The primary for the Democratic, well, actually for both parties, begin in March. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I know the primary, but I'm talking about Donald Trump's trial for what he did on January 6th.
The January 6th, the federal trial is scheduled to start in March. They're already starting to pick. They're already juicing up the jury pool. In fact, that has already started. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's hope and pray that Donald Trump will be held accountable for his crimes for that, and then trying to defraud the state. I think he's is that in April? I think that for the Georgia defrauding of trying to.
That one I don't know. That one I don't know. But anyway, Harry, I need to go to some other callers. So give me a closer so I can get to some other callers, brother.
Okay, I'll just say this. If, like I've said before, if you want Sheila Jackson Lee supporters, get out there and vote on Saturday, so you can have Sheila Jackson Lee as your mayor if you passionately want her to be the next mayor of Houston.
Thank you so kindly. Thank you so kindly, Harry. Hey, welcome aboard, AR, and welcome aboard, Eric Hayes. We have an active chat. Eric says you don't solve problems by cussing out people and telling others they're worthless, and we know who has and does that. Is that what we did? Look, let me first do this. I am a person that wants to entertain everybody. So if somebody felt that I cussed them out, I don't ever do that. But if it came across that way, please accept my forgiveness. But I don't think I did that. What I think I did is made sure that somebody did not. Go ahead, Howard.
It wasn't you.
Okay.
Going back to talking about what Sheila Jackson Lee's tape was about.
Okay.
No, you don't. Then you don't solve problems by doing that. You don't. No, you don't correct employees by doing that. And I'm going to step out on a limb here and say that's the internal workings of the office, but they will affect the external workings of the office.
Yes. I got you, brother. All right, let's go to Frank. Come on in, Frank.
Howdy, y'all. Just came in to talk about the mayor's race a little bit more. Just this past week, Kathy Whitmire, and if y'all are old enough to know how she did her administration, Kathy Whitmire was the mayor of Houston, I think, throughout the 80s. I believe she was elected to 5 terms.
I remember her. Yes.
She is actually the sister-in-law of John Whitmire. And this past Monday, I believe, she endorsed Sheila Jackson Lee. If you actually need to know somebody who knows John, the former mayor of Houston in the 80s just endorsed his opponent. I do not know why. That is, I just know that she has. So let's get back. Instead of talking about who we're voting against, let's talk about who we're voting for and why. Sheila Jackson Lee, throughout her tenure in Congress, again, and I've said this before, but I'll say this again for the runoff. She's gotten billions of dollars in funding for Houston, and she got us the rail line. When my car broke down, I depended on the rail line. If it hadn't been for that, I'd be spending a car note on Ubers, if not worse. And she got us the funding for the Harris Health System, the Gold Card, which provides virtually free health care for thousands of Houstonians. Just with that one move, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee has saved thousands of Houston lives. So if you want to talk about the inner workings, it's common knowledge on Capitol Hill that she has the 4th highest turnaround of congressional aides. Yeah, she's hard to work for, but she's gotten results. And if you know somebody who's needed the Gold Card to get free medication or free health care, and I know people who would be dead now if they hadn't gotten what she got us, then you need to do your duty and get her as mayor, because there's a whole lot more work she needs to be doing for us. All right, that's about all I got today. Have a good one.
Thank you very much for your statement, Frank. Let's go ahead and go to Peter. Come on in, Peter.
Good morning, Egberto. Thank you so much for taking my call this morning. You doing all right today?
Yes, sir. How are you doing?
Outstanding. And, thanks for taking my call again. And I would just love to make a couple of quick points just on the mayor's race. So we hear, of course, to speak on crime. And I know that's important, but it seems like it's just a talking point. Of course, crime is, we have this problem with the guns. And so I would probably just ask a police officer as far as, what's a good solution there. But honestly, what I'm an activist on is the environment, and don't really hear a lot of talk about a coal-fired power plant. Actually, right in our backyard, Egberto, it's the Parish coal-fired power plant. It's in Richmond, Texas, and part of Houston proper, and it belches out hundreds of thousands of pounds of sulfur dioxide every year. And there is a solution. That's what I'm working towards. I'm a candidate for U.S. House, Texas District 2, and I'm a voice of reason for the environment. So what do you know about our problems with this coal-fired power plant? Because I've got some solutions I'd love to pitch.
Okay, I have to admit that I don't know about the coal-fired plant in Richmond, Texas, and I am glad that you have solutions. Let's do the solutions, etc., on another day when we're sort of talking that issue. So, could you make your second point for me, my friend?
Yeah, it's a 5,000 acre site, and we can be doing renewable energy there. Of course, coal is being phased out. There's gas as an alternative. I was working on a plan. It's called Farms to Forest Initiative, and College of Environmental Sciences and Forestry, where I went to college. So it's basically mitigates the soil around the coal-fired power plant, because there's lots of farms around that area, and they're not viable anymore to grow crops because of the mercury, the different lead, the different. So basically, we plant a hybrid willow that grows in 2 years. It mitigates the soil, and then after 2 years, we actually use that to run the coal-fired power plant. So that's one of the biofuels. So it's biofuel. It's sustainable, and so that's my plan. Because without a plan, we're planning to fail, and that's really what I wanted to.
Hey, well, actually, you got to. I got to go to the other caller, Peter. But I want to hear something about that. Using the bad land to grow the grass that you're going to. I mean, that's an interesting concept. We need to talk about that some other time. Anyway, thank you for calling, Peter. Let's go to Augie. Come on in, Augie. Talk to me.
Good morning, KPFT geniuses and the world. Yeah, you're right. Instead of talking personalities, let's talk about policy. And in the Bible, the New Testament, it says action speaks louder than words. Words won't hurt you, but their actions will. if you don't like to be talked bad to, go in Army basic training or Marine basic training, see how they talk to you there.
Yeah.
And when I was at Tech, I had an old school guy train me, and he didn't use polite words, and he used all kinds of language at me. And eventually, when the racist kicked me off my job, he said he didn't want any Mexicans working for him. I was a rookie. So the day I was leaving, this guy who had talked bad to me, he wanted to shake my hands. He said he knew he talked bad to me and all kinds of stuff, and I never returned. And like he talked to me. So he said he stopped drinking. He started being a family man. He started going back to church. So yeah, talk is one thing, but action is something separate. So just thought of throw that in there. And
that's a good concept. Look, it's good to be. It doesn't hurt to be nice, Augie. You know, when Howard says that the outward can have external implications, the fact of the matter that that is playing a role in Sheila Jackson's race right now, I think proves Howard's point, right? In other words, that is if some people decided not to vote for her because they found out how she runs the office internally, you know, it corroborates exactly what Howard just says. You know, it works on the outside as well. But as far when we talk policy and solely policy, which is what the purpose here, and I think that's what Neil would agree to as well. You know, the policies couldn't be more different, and people need to learn the policies. And you know, we can talk about the other externalities at some time, but we got to talk the policy. Augie, I got some other calls I got to run to. So look, thank you for your smart words as usual, my brother.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, let's go to Joni. Come on in, Joni.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
I just want to this has probably already been said, but it bears repeating. So if Sheila Jackson Lee were a man, I don't agree with what she did, but if she had been a man, she would be, you know, receiving accolades from many people as a strong leader. If we heard this same thing from Donald Trump to one of his staffers, and I think we probably have.
We have.
Then they would be lauding him as a strong leader. That's what he has to do to take care of business. So, you know, it's a double standard as we know happens. But
Joni,
just wanted to make that point. And
Joni, please stay with me. Give me 30 seconds, Joni. Let me tell you, I want to thank you for calling here, being the voice of reason from a woman, of course. And it's important what you just said, more important than you know, because the person that's trying to be president, Donald Trump right now, has done orders of magnitude more. And the same brother, the caller who called, he's a strong supporter of the guy. So think about that. And that didn't matter there. So you just made a statement of fact, Joni. Thank you so kindly for calling.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for what you do. Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, let's go to Alistair. Come on, and my sister Alistair from Conroe. How you doing, beautiful?
Hey, good morning. I'm good. I just had to pipe in that when you have when your job is to care for so many people and you have to have a high bar set for your staff and they don't meet those expectations, do you not expect those employees to be reprimanded when they fall very short at times? I mean, in defense of Sheila Jackson Lee and being a hard boss, I've had hard bosses. They have helped me grow as an individual. They have helped me see where I have not done as good as I could have. And some of these people that are whining about, she hurt my feelings because she said this to me. Well, isn't it like biblical, I think, where you have, you know, when you have a lot is expected of you. And as far as delegating, you know, she does a great job delegating. And like the caller before said, with Sheila Jackson Lee getting the gold card for Houstonians and getting the rails for Houstonians. And that was at the federal level. Imagine what she can do with her boots on the ground in Houston. This is coming from someone in Montgomery County who isn't even affected directly by a lot of the things that Sheila Jackson Lee has done for Houstonians. And I see it.
No,
So-
I want to break in and just say, I just want to break in and say thank you, women callers, for always being able to give a necessary perspective and put in the conversation many times where the conversation needs to go. Hey, women, I need more women callers to tame all this testosterone down, ladies. You know, but look, anyway, Alistair, thank you so kindly for your call, my sister.
Absolutely. Y'all stay safe and blessed and vote for Sheila Jackson Lee for Houston.
Thank you for the call. Let's see, Neil, your comments before I go to Brian.
Right. So many of the people criticizing Sheila Jackson Lee are people who celebrate aggression. So there sure is a lot of hypocrisy. The Houston Democracy Project, that's my project. The Houston Democracy Project, you can Google it. Election day is Saturday, December 9th. Vote down the full ticket. Talk to the people you know. Say, hey, vote the full slate. Look it up.
All right, Brian, real quick, come on in.
Yeah, you got to make sure you go out and vote today, not Saturday. You got to go out and vote today, right?
No,
Today
actually, that was one of her bad staffers who sent out a mailer that gave that implication. Maybe they need her to kind of rough them up a bit.
Yeah, man. I mean, if she did that, I mean, she probably fired him, right? Or her, whoever it was.
I don't know, Brian. I don't know. But anyway, Brian, you took your time to do that. So I'll see you tomorrow. I got to go to Howard. Howard, come on in.
Okay, Brian, thank you for calling in. I've got to disagree with one of your callers here.
Mm-hmm.
Personal attacks on someone are not helpful. Yes, I've had hard bosses before, but they didn't cross that line. But you cross a line when you go to a personal attack saying, you stupid fat ass. That's just not acceptable. That's not leadership. So that's my 2 cents. Jack, what you got?
Well, for the crime issue, harm reduction is the answer. Let's find out why these people aren't getting their needs met and have to resort to crime or choose to resort to crime. The justice system needs to be changed from a punishment system to a restitution system.
Thank you very much for that, Jack. I just want to come back to Brother Howard with one quiet thing. We are all allowed to make mistakes. Sometimes we go overboard, and I think that is what Alistair was trying to illustrate. You know, hey, let's not judge women different than we do men. You are correct on that fact, though, Howard. My name is Egberto. Oh, wait. I want to thank brother Neil Aquino from the Houston Democracy Project for being here with us. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number 1, subscribe to our channel, and number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.